Howdy folks, we're going to start a new series on The Last Plague, Blight. This is it's a survival game with some lore. So there's this plague kind of taking over the land, it's spreading around, and you're supposed to get to the bottom of that and try to do something about it. But there's also a lot of deep survival bushcraft, crafting kind of stuff with it, which is great. I love that kind of thing in a game. And I did an initial video where I've been playing this, you can see here, day 5. Been playing it some, and I did a little video where I was smelting and made a saw and a wheelbarrow, some of that stuff. There was a little bit of interest, so I'm going to start a new series. I'm going to do probably at least 3 episodes, and we'll see how it goes. I do want to play this, but I don't know if there's enough interest for me to, edit together videos and stuff. So we shall see how it goes, but we're going to jump into a new game. And I'm just going to leave this, the defaults, because I'm still learning the game. And we will go for there. I'm going to leave the tutorial on as well. So each time you start, the map is randomly generated. But I think it's always kind of the same in that there's an island to the south. And from what I understand, that island is important for lore. So I've got a little ways into the game, but not very far. There's not really much character customization just yet, so we're just going to be the standard dude. Alright, so we got day 1. There's a couple different ways to play this. I'm going to switch this back to the default. Right now I'm in the third person view, which is kind of cool, but it's also a little awkward sometimes when you're picking up stuff. So I'm going to go into settings, gameplay, or was it in graphics? Might have been in controls. There it is. So camera perspective, you can switch back and forth between top down and third person. So in this mode, we can kind of zoom out. You get a little better picture, and you can see there's a lot of stuff on the ground. So first thing I want to do is pull up the map. Yeah, so the map is randomly generated, but I think there's always like a main continent, and then there's an island, and this island is kind of important. But we're going to need a couple things. We want some water close by. We need a swamp. So actually this might not be too bad down here somewhere. A bunch of rocky stuff for mining. Looks like we might have a forest there, so I think we'll pretty much just head south. And I got to remember how to move the camera. There we go. So which way am I pointing? Was this way south? Yeah, so that's that little lake. And then if I hit Alt, it'll highlight stuff around. So I do want to gather up a couple things. I'm going to grab a small stone, and this will be used as a hammer. So we start out with a little bit of equipment. I'm going to put my knife and my hatchet on my tool belt. The interface is a little awkward. Like when you make spears, there's no way to hotkey the spear. You have to open your inventory, right-click on it, and go to equip. I don't know of any way to make that easier. Hopefully that changes in the future. But there's a lot of stuff. I don't necessarily want to start collecting a lot of things right now because I want to go establish a base camp somewhere. I don't want to carry a lot of stuff with me. But I do want to get a dish made so I can scoop up berries and water. So right now I have the large stone and the small stone. If I right click on this, I can say craft with. I can make a stone bowl, and that's what we'll use to crush up berries or drink water for now. And then we're kind of off to the races with our basics that we have. So there we are. We're good with that. And I've got a bedroll here on me, which takes up a lot of room. The other thing I want to keep an eye out for is some flint for starting fires. A lot of this stuff, of course, I want to pick up, but let's get our base established first. We'll grab this pine cone because I can eat the pine nuts out of that. Oh, small piece of flint. There we go. So let me just grab that. So we have one of those. I'm going to grab this pine cone. I'm going to turn that off. We're going to head south. Let's zoom out a little bit more. As you zoom out, it goes up, so it's a little hard to see ahead of you. We'll adjust this. So there's a road here we can eventually link up with. But typically the towns that I've seen, they're covered in blight, so you can't go anywhere. And I'm also gonna, I'm gonna resist the urge to loot. That dogbane plant is a fibrous plant, which is good for making cordage. It's wanting me to do some of the stuff, so let me just get that out of the way. Here we go. It's teaching us the basics. First thing it wants us to do is set up camp, but we're going to head south quite a ways before we do that. So I should have noted, the yellow fog stuff is the Blight, and it will kill you in about 30 seconds. So don't go into the Blight. I tested that for science. It was bad. There's also wild animals, wolves, bears, deer, rabbit. Wolves and bears are not cuddly. They will hurt you. So the swamp, I think, becomes important later on. I wonder if we might set up right on the edge of this lake. Then we're kind of close to the island, which I think we need to go to at some point. So let's keep on heading this direction. I'm going to get down a little closer so I can see where I'm going. And I'm going to travel on down there, and if something else comes up, I'll bring in. Otherwise, I'll see you down at the camp location. Press Alt to hunt. Yeah, I already did that. Tab to open my inventory. I'll also continue running through this beginning stuff. Oh, here's something important. So you can see it's 2% contaminated. So it's contaminated by the Blight. We have all these meters down here. Warmth, how tired I am, energy, hunger, thirst, and health. And then there's a Blight meter at some point where if you get too infected, it makes your health go down. If I do craft with on these, I can get some pine nuts out of here. Now I have an empty pine cone. I can use those for fire starters. I'm going to hang on to them. I'm going to go ahead and eat all of those. You can see our hunger bar goes up. And the thirst meter went down a little bit because it took away some thirst. So as I travel down, I'm going to keep an eye out for blueberry bushes. There's a rabbit. We can make traps later. There's a lot going on here. I'll try to show it off as we go. I'll see you in a bit. Okay, I was running along and came on some blueberry bushes, so let me show you this real quick. So we're going to gather up these blueberries. And you just click on something and he'll walk over and, do it. Whereas if you're in third-person view, you actually have to walk up to it and select it, kind of like a traditional game. And I've also been gathering up some dogbane just to get some cordage going as we walk. You can see our skill increased in foraging. There is skills. I don't remember where that is. It's one of these buttons. Crafting, inventory, build. Effects, skills. There it is. So we have skills that you level up in. But let's go to our blueberries real quick. So if I go to craft with, you see we can make blueberry juice in our stone bowl. But the selected output container needs to be equipped to store the result. This is something that's kind of a theme in the game. You often have to have the item in the correct place, whether it's your hand, your offhand, the fire pit, whatever that may be. I'm going to click, if I click shift on here, it does 5 at a time. So I'm going to just do that. I'm going to let it crush up the berries. You see the little time thing down here? I can actually speed this up. While you're crafting, you can go in like fast forward time. Now, time is passing quicker, so keep that in mind. So we're going to get more tired, etc., etc. Let's slow that back down. All right, so now it's quick crafting because our dish is full. So there's tons of info on the screen. You can see it's got juice extracted from berries. It's in 98% condition. There's 20... It'll give plus 20 thirst if we drink all of this. And it says it can ferment in a covered container. So there is a lot of crafting. Let's go drink up some delicious blueberry juice. I don't think it gives us any hunger rating. It just said plus 20 on the on the thirst. But anyway, that's how we're going to survive as we travel. I'm just going to be drinking blueberries, eating pine nuts. And we'll get down to the base location and we'll start building a base. Skill increase, endurance. As I've been running, I've been building up my endurance. You can see there's a town off to the east here. It's all covered in blight, so we can't go in there. Just got to keep on running south. Take that out of my hand. I went ahead and drank up all of my berry juice. Can I do this while I'm walking? No, I can cut those up. Found some ginseng root. I think that might be required in one of the cooking quests that we'll do in a little bit. So went ahead and picked me up some sang. Here we are. We got some rootlets. They only stack to 2 apparently. All right. If we go to craft with, so here we're making our plant rope. So we'll just rip all that up as well. I'm kind of burning daylight here, but I'm going to get down south eventually. Just wanted to show you some of the stuff that's going on. All right, onward to the south. Okay, I've reached the lake down here. I'm just going to take a look around. See where might be a kind of a flattish spot to start setting up camp. Now you can terraform, but that takes time. There's a lot of stone around. There's a lot of woods nearby. We got the lake, of course. I like to be on the shore so we can have water readily available. So let's see what we got to deal with. We got a little bit of steepness here. I don't think it's quite steep enough to have copper or anything, but you want to look for like cliff sides. We're mostly getting copper and tin and getting into the metal age. And then we want to keep an eye out for clay, which we might have to find alongside rivers. I'm not sure. So we might want to set up by a river. I think there is, yeah, there's a river right here. Wouldn't be too bad right in here to build if we have the stuff nearby that we need. Definitely have plenty of stone. I'm not seeing any clay yet, though. Clay is going to be super important for advancing our tech. So we're almost down to the big ocean or whatever it is. Oh, there's clay over there. So is there any clay on this side of the river? Because we'd have to get all wet. Going over to the other side. Maybe we'd be better off on that side of the river? There's a little bit of clay. Oh, I see some clay. Okay. So I think we're going to be okay to maybe start building in here. Have our initial camp set up. So let's grab a couple things. We're going to need some stuff to start a fire. Let me grab a long stick. I think if I have this in my hand... Can I do any terraforming? No, I can collect dirt, but I can't do any terraforming, I don't think yet. Maybe until I have a shovel. So I did pick up enough stones to progress to the next one. So it wants me to place a fire pit. Is it B for build menu? And then we can search fire pit. There we go. So we're going to place that down. Too far to automate. Okay, yeah, that's fine. I want this to be sort of centrally located. I kind of want to build a shelter over it. So we'll place that down. I'm going to put the stones in. We'll have a little fire pit going. There we go. All right, now we have a fire pit. So it's going to walk us through a bunch of stuff. Stockpile some firewood. And then we can lease kindling. Okay, yeah, that's just telling us to go do stuff, basically. So let's start a stockpile for long sticks. And we'll just set that up over here. And I'm going to take out my axe. And I'm wanting I think a medium tree. for a shelter, but we can chop down some of these young trees. Get some materials to get a fire going. I think if I build my shelter with the poles made from medium trees, I can fit the smoking rack under it, which is something we're going to want. Alright, you can see it popped off a whole bunch of stuff. One cool thing is I can just hold down T, and he's just going to gather like everything in the area. I'm just holding down T and he's just picking up stuff, so. Not enough space. Right, we need to get our bedroll down, so let's say... Let's put this over here by the fire for now. Rotate is shift. Let's set that there. And this lets us rest naturally. Not enough space, it says. Alright, so we're going to just do that. Now we can pick up all these pine branches. So if you just hold down T, he'll just continue to find like anything he can pick up. We're going to need some firewood to get this fire going before dark hits, so we're going to work on that. Starting to get a bit tired. Yeah, I know, buddy. Alright, so now we can pick up, I think, 2 logs at a time. Like I said, this got deep crafting. So now we have this. And I need to place these down. And we need to chop them up. Like that. And we're going to chop up some firewood. Oh, if you have your tool in your hand, you can't auto-collect. Got it. Alright, so then the firewood, I want to also start a stockpile. And we'll make that kind of like right here by the fire. Makes sense. There we go. Let's go ahead and get the fire started. So if I come in here and I say craft with, we can make pine leaves. Basically, it'll strip this and it'll give us sticks and pine leaves. So we'll do all of those we can do. You can see we're increasing our skills as we do each little thing. Alright, now I've got that. I've got a few twigs. Should be able to get a fire started. So I'm going to click on that. And then here's the fire. So we need some tinder, kindling, we need an ignition source. And that's that small piece of flint I picked up earlier. So if I just click... is it shift click? Yeah, there it is. So I just shift click that. Then we also use up these empty pine cones. So you can see it'll take about a minute and there's a 41% chance of me succeeding. If I give it some more kindling, it's up to a 61%. So let's go for it. So I'm using my knife and my small piece of flint. So you start with a knife and an axe. Those will eventually wear out. Hey, we did it. Alright, that's only going to go for 15 minutes, so we need to grab some firewood. Just going to right click, add fuels. Now it's good for 6, almost 7 hours. Here you go. I'm going to go chop up some more wood. And it actually wants us to boil some water. Let's do that real quick. So if I put my bowl in my hand, I'm going to go ahead and turn off the that. I want to fill stone bowl with river water. Be very careful with your actions because you can accidentally drink or eat the wrong thing. And if I come back up to the fire, I can go examine. You can see we have a cooking surface. And then it's click boil. You do have to click boil. I've made that mistake before. So that's going to boil that water. We'll be able to drink a little bit of water. We're going to have to make some clay stuff to be able to do more things, you know, more water at a time and whatnot. So this just wants us to boil. I'm going to get some more firewood going while that's boiling up, and I'll be back in a bit. Alright, I didn't get too far, but the water is done, so I want to start. I've just been making a bunch of stockpiles. So I hit Alt there, you can see the various stockpiles. We'll go over and put our sticks here. Beautiful. Let's go get the water drink. get some more water boiling. Put that in our main hand. And it wants us to set up a rabbit snare. That's the last thing we'll do here before we head off to Sleepy. That'll be the end of day 1. It's a full-time job just staying alive at the beginning. I can shift-click that in, hit boil. It wants me to create a rabbit snare, so I'm pretty sure I need sticks for that. So let me go grab, let's get this pine branch, some sticks, long stick, another stick. Not sure what all I need. So if I hit this and I say right click, craft with, we make a rabbit snare, fish trap, rabbit snare. So I need 6 sticks, and I've got plenty of cordage. So we basically need some more sticks. There's plenty of those laying around, so we'll just grab them up. We can also craft the small sticks from the pine leaves. So I picked one of those up. There we go. That got us some sticks. Now I have 4. I think I've actually got 6. So craft with, and then rabbit snare. There we are. Create. Takes a little bit to craft that up, and then I can say place. And I don't know for sure. I haven't really seen any rabbits running around here necessarily, but we'll put it over here and we'll see what happens. So let's just stick it there for now. We can check it once in a while. Here we go. Stockpile some firewood. Indeed. So we have a young tree. I need some bigger trees. I might have made a mistake settling here. So we have the small tree. That's a large tree. I don't remember if I need a young tree. Got young tree and small tree. Look at a search. Is it pole? Beam? No. I don't remember what it's called now. Storage, transportation, shelter. Post. That's what it's called. Need a medium post. Oh, that's just a long stick? I thought it was the trees. Okay, cool. So we're good. But we are going to need more firewood, so choppy. Cook raw rabbit meat. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to get that. Place a small charcoal pile. So you can burn firewood into charcoal, which we'll need eventually for metalworking. But I want to get some firewood going. That way we'll have it stockpiled and we can keep the fire going and we can just keep on crafting. And I'll just kind of get over here and hold down T. We picked up a ton of stuff. So we'll run that back over to camp. Now that I've got all my stockpiles, I can just right click on the stockpile and it will add the stuff. So we can quickly drop off all these things. There we go. I need to get a stockpile going probably for cordage. Put that over here. And then when you create a stockpile, it just puts all the stuff down. So I forgot to mention, we do start out with some cured sausage as well. So I'm going to eat one of those. Get our hunger up a little bit. And those last a pretty long time. So that kind of gets you bootstrapped between your tools and a little bit of food. I don't really need the chamomile now. You can boil that, I think, to make chamomile tea. I picked it up along the way. We'll just dump that out. I can't do anything with the ginseng just yet. We're going to hang on to it. But our plant rope, we'll throw that in there. And then I need to go chop some firewood. I think that'll be pretty much it for this first video. I'm going to go ahead and clean up. We'll get through the night. I'll do some more crafting and whatnot. And tomorrow, in-game, will be another day. Let me know what you think about the game. If you want to see a series, let me know in a comment below. Like I said, I'm going to do probably 3 episodes. We'll see how the series does. Hope to see you back again for the next adventure. As always, thanks for watching.